Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start with a story about an obnoxious friend who was very loud when he got drunk. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Seriously, you can't come over. So there was this D-bag with a Napoleon complex, NC, I met in college that would be very obnoxious and condescending to everyone. I actually became close with a group of friends that he grew up with, so he was unfortunately always around by association. Even these friends knew how obnoxious he was, but they just put up with it, much like an older brother would with an annoying younger brother. Anyway, we all graduated from college, and this group of friends all moved back to their hometown, about 45 minutes away, while I stayed in the city. All the major clubs/bars were near my apartment, so one Friday, we all went out to drink near my place and went back to my place afterwards. We were all pretty drunk/noisy/rowdy, but my neighbor knocked on my door and asked if we could keep it down. All of us were being pretty quiet except for NC, who was being very loud and obnoxious. Another neighbor knocks on our door and complains about the noise level as well. I tell NC to keep it down, but he gets even louder. Finally, my landlord comes and tells me that he's gotten way too many complaints about our noise level tonight and it's unacceptable. I'm not about to get evicted because of NC, so I call him a cab and tell him he has to go. Since he's not respecting my place, I tell him that he's no longer welcome at my apartment. I don't like the guy to begin with, so this actually worked out in my favor. A couple weeks later, I get a call from NC. He says that he's out drinking with some other friends near my place and asks if he can crash on my couch. I could already tell from his voice that he was drunk and was going to be loud and obnoxious again. I remind him that he's not welcome at my place due to the situation a couple weeks ago and hang up. Half hour later, I get a knock on my door. It's NC. He must have thought I was joking or something and tries to walk inside. I stop him and say that he can't come in. He continues to be a brat, like a younger brother would be to an older brother. And I have no reason to be nice to this guy, and I have a good reason to not let him stay over. I end up making him wait outside on the sidewalk and call his childhood friend to drive 45 minutes to come pick him up. Never asked to stay over again after that. And our second story. Post fake reviews to counterbalance my genuine review? War declared. I worked at a place for a few months and got fired. I was given a very vague reason, something like, "You don't fit in with the culture," which was fine with me because the culture involved kissing the manager's butt and laughing at his dumb passive-aggressive jokes that weren't really jokes, but a way for him to try and assert dominance over you. A few months later, a coworker of mine gets fired. We compare notes and figure, this is a crappy place to work. Let's leave reviews online and warn other people. At the time, there were 0 reviews. I rated them 2 out of 5 stars, gave them credit where they deserved it, and criticized them where they deserved it also. My coworker does the same. About a month later, we get notified by the website that a flurry of new reviews have been posted. We investigate, and a few are actually genuine. The others are clearly fake, and we know exactly who did it. The butt-kissing human resources guy, because his style of writing was easily identifiable. We had a laugh, and we're going to leave it at that, but another former coworker who was still at the company contacted us and told us that upper management had read our original reviews and went around to each employee and suggested that they write a positive review online. B, this is a declaration of war. Over the next 6 months, we engaged in a tit-for-tat review war. We created alternate online personas and crapped all over the company. It was all true. We didn't make anything up. We just felt we had to dial it up a notch. So any petty grievance, temperature too cold, employees have poor hygiene, etc., was unleashed on the site. We even called out the fake reviews as fake. They responded with even more ridiculously positive reviews. After 6 months, they fired the guy that had told us about their secret plan to counterbalance our negative reviews. He joined our side and started writing negative reviews. After another few months, the butt-kissing HR guy quit, but never joined our side. After a while, someone in upper management logged in and personally responded to our reviews, and that's when we stopped. I got a sense of closure from the personal response that I never got when they fired me, so I no longer had the motivation to continue. And our last story. My car isn't totaled, and you're going to put it back together. This happened about last year at the body shop where I work now. This lady, let's call her military wife or MW, came into the shop with a damaged front end to her 2016 Acura ILX. Our lobby was open at the time. I happened to be at the front desk filling in for our receptionist, doctor's appointment. When MW walked in, she smelled like she'd bathed in designer perfume, but still reeked of alcohol. She asked where the rental car was and huffed like the big bad wolf when I asked her name first and last. MW groaned like she was pushing a wheelbarrow full of bricks up a hill to tell me her first and last name and that she was dropping off her car for her insurance. Since the rental car wasn't at our shop yet, I told her that I'd check in her vehicle and get her paperwork done. MW, you can look at my Acura, but I'm not signing anything until my rental's here. Y'all aren't allowed to touch my Acura until I say so. I wish I could provide photos, but I happen to like my job. The entire right side of her car was crushed from front bumper to rear door. I was 90% confident that the right frame rail was bent in. MW said that after the accident, her husband, who she told me was a retired master sergeant, had to replace the right front tire with a spare just so she could drive the Acura into the shop. According to the insurance claim assignment, MW had hit the side barrier on the interstate the night before dropping off her vehicle. According to MW, someone must have hit her Acura as she was disputing the damage with the other party's insurance. When the rental company arrived, MW came back into the shop and complained about the rental. Can you make sure to notate that my rental car is filthy and smells like alcohol and piss? The rental company agent, MW, and I walked out to the rental, and outside some of the light dirt on the carpets, I didn't notice any smells, stains, or dirt. I told MW that I didn't notice anything. So I'm a liar? This is not professional service. I quickly added that I was suffering from seasonal allergies, fake sniffle, and would document her concerns, but couldn't smell anything. I shrugged my shoulders helplessly at the rental company agent, and MW left. I assigned the Acura to our shop's best technician for a teardown, and sure enough, it needed a frame right and a few right suspension parts. With all the operations and the damages through the right side, the repairs were going to cost $13,000. I called MW with the cost of repairs and sent up the estimate and photos to her insurance the day after she dropped off. The next day, her insurance asked for photos to condition or assess the total loss value. I sent them the same day, including photos of all the options on her vehicle. MW came to the shop 3 days later, livid, and marched into my office. "You are not totaling my Acura! How dare you lie to me about repairing my Acura, then try to total it behind my back? And you're trying to steal money from me. What kind of business is this?" After getting MW to calm down and sit down, along with the receptionist and 2 of my fellow estimators, MW explained that her insurance had called to cut off the rental and that the car was totaled based off the estimate, and sent her the conditioning sheet. Despite the photos I'd sent of her Acura, insurance company had missed a navigation system that added value to her vehicle. Not much, but enough for MW to complain about. I explained that the insurance, not our shop, was totaling the vehicle and had missed the navigation. MW, "It doesn't matter. My Acura is worth more than the $10,000 they offered me. I have a $14,000 loan on my Acura. They're either paying off that loan or fixing my Acura." Usually, total loss situations like this get squashed when people hear frame or engine damage. In my experience, people usually understand that it's very complicated to repair damaged structural frame parts, and it's only rarely approved by insurance companies. Not MW. GM and I went with the Acura to MW and went over the estimate line by line with each part in clear view. We spent over 30 minutes talking to her. Not only did MW still believe her insurance would pay off the loan, but she was absolutely furious that we'd taken parts off her vehicle, front bumper, right headlight, right fender, and disassembled the right front door. She demanded we put everything back together so she could drive her Acura home. GM was very firm. Our shop does not put back together totaled vehicles for any insurance claim. Over the next 3 days, MW called every single day to demand that we put damaged parts back on her Acura. She threatened to file a Better Business Bureau complaint and even sue the shop, claiming we were trying to sell parts from her Acura. Yes, I took every one of those calls. And yes, I spent at least 10 minutes per call refuting her accusations. Despite that, MW told her insurance that I was incompetent, didn't know what I was doing, and was giving her the runaround. When I wasn't talking to MW about her car, I had to talk to insurance claims agents who had an earful of her. By the following Monday, I guess MW had had enough. MW arrived at the shop with her teenage son, her adult daughter, and her husband. They all sat in the front office like angry lumps on a log until GM and I came up to them. MW jumped out of her seat. "I had enough of being lied to and run around. I want my Acura put back together now. I want it now." And at this point, I snapped. I lost my professional cool. "I'll bring your car with every single part that belongs in it in 10 minutes. Now go wait outside." MW's husband started to speak up. "I said all of you go wait outside." I personally put every single part, bumper, headlight, fender, door trim, inside the Acura, even the clips that the technician kept stashed in his stall since the door glass had been removed. I wrapped it in plastic wrap and just put it in the front seat. I drove the Acura back around to MW and placed the keys in her hand. MW's husband, "Now wait a minute, you said you'd put everything back together on it. You just said that. What kind of scam are you running?" I calmly told him and MW that we do not put damaged parts back on vehicles when they've been removed. You have every single part that was on your car now inside your car. You may choose to have those parts put back on by another shop, but we will not do it. You are no longer welcome at this shop. You may leave. They left. MW's insurance paid us for the disassembly. Out of curiosity, I asked a claims rep how things had turned out a few days ago. IIRC MW settled with the insurance last summer, but lost even more money due to additional miles she added. I'm sure this person just yells and screams everywhere she goes and usually gets whatever she wants by people who are sick of dealing with her or places that don't want to lose her business. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.